I want you guys to understand. We're what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 more years from a new decade. And I want you guys to understand that we are entering an era of wrestling where the John Cenas, the Randy Ortons, the Samoa Joes, the Seth Rollins, the old school guys that we grew up with, the guys that were our era, are about to start leaving. And that leaves us with the biggest question of them all. Who's next? Who's next for this new decade? You look at AEW, TNA, you look at the landscape of professional wrestling. Right now, there's a lot of old guys and not a lot of new guys. So the question is, in this new era of wrestling, where we're getting the old school ring of, you could name them off. They're all getting old. We're losing them. We're going to get to a place where we're not going to have AJ Styles. We're not going to have Seth Rollins. We're not going to have Roman Reigns. We're not going to have Cody Rhodes. So what will it take? What will the new breakout star for the new millennia be? And what would we have to look for?
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest set for one fall.
It's go time.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a very good question. Now, I believe whoever is the next to rise, I always feel like you need something in order to be the next top guy in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
You can't just be a good wrestler. I'm sorry to all the AEW fans out there. I'm an AEW fan myself. Check the hat out.
Love
Keep
it.
the gear. But you cannot just be a good wrestler. That's not enough.
You like Kyle O'Reilly?
It was enough when AEW first came out, but now that it's out, there's a much more higher level of expectations from not only the company, but the wrestlers that are within said company. So you can't just be a good wrestler. To me, I think you need to have a personality. You have to have some type of personality that builds a connection with the audience. That can even supersede your talent as a wrestler in the ring, if we're being honest. If we look at people like Enzo Amore, who was completely dog shit in the ring, but he had this overwhelming, strong personality that people couldn't help but gravitate towards. I believe that's what you need. We look at everyone that we have right now that has that, right? Cody Rhodes has that. That's why you love Cody Rhodes. Of course, we know John Cena has that and all that shit. Everybody loves John Cena, right? Asuka has that. You know, Io, she grew into that, right? When she started off, that's what she's now at. That's what I think. That's what I think you will need for the next top star. Like, you need to have that. If you don't have that, I'm sorry. I think you're just going to go under. If you don't have a connection with the audience, if you don't have something people could get behind, you're cooked. Even if you're a great wrestler, because you'll just be the flavor of the fucking month as a great wrestler and then kick to the curb if you got nothing else to offer.
Yeah.
This is where I think me and you differ a little bit. Just a little bit, because I do agree with you. But I started thinking about, if you don't know, if you're just barely watching this show, I'm letting y'all know I am a diehard AEW fan.
Yeah.
And
Well, what we didn't know.
y'all didn't know, but y'all knew, but they didn't know. But what I'm starting to notice is AEW's in their 6th year in this business, and there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be growing up with AEW. And I look at the landscape of professional wrestling. And there's going to be a lot of kids who will be watching WWE because of their family. And there are going to be a lot of people, though, who will be watching AEW. And it's hard for me not to think back to when I was a kid and when I used to watch Power Rangers or when I used to watch different type of shows. And I would look towards the action and why I was gravitated to a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or I would gravitate towards specific action like Dragon Ball Z or stuff like that, when I wanted to see just this larger than life persona, some badass action fights. And that's why I say I differ, but not so much. I agree with Jay. I think the new gen of stars has to have a combination of not only of a in-ring performer,
Of course, you got.
but also that idea of being larger than life.
Yeah.
And I think that is what the new gen of a professional wrestling has to be.
Yep.
Because if you look at a kid, right, they're not growing up with Power Rangers. They're not growing up with the stuff that we grew up with anymore.
They're not growing up with a lot of.
They're
good
not
stuff.
growing up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So the only real action stuff that they have now is really, truthfully, honestly, is either anime or professional wrestling or comic books. But even in that, there's not a lot of Saturday morning cartoons anymore.
No.
There's not a lot of stuff you can watch. But there is professional wrestling. And as much as we, us who are tenured in the wrestling fandom, we know what we like and what we don't like. For a kid, if they watch a clip of Will Ospreay, if they watch a clip of Kenny Omega or of Kyle Fletcher or any type of crazy spot, hell, if you just go look back at this past AEW Wrestle Dream and they watch Darby Allin getting launched by Claudio, they're going to be
That's
like,
just
what the
crazy.
fuck is that? And sometimes that's all it takes.
True.
That all it takes is to hook you. And then once they watch the show, they're like, oh, this is something else, which is why I agree with Jay. Sometimes the athleticism in the ring is enough to hook you, but then to keep wanting to watch more,
you need more than that.
you need more than
Yeah,
that. So
for sure.
I agree. Again, we differ in some ways, but I do agree that it's you will need to have a combination of both.
But I'm not only just talking about people to hook you. I'm talking about who's going to be that person to grow into that larger than life character. I'm not talking about the fans to hook. That's what you're talking. I'm not talking about that. You look at people like Toni Storm. When she came into AEW, she was nothing. Let's be honest here. People were not behind her. What did it take for her to get to the point where, my God, Toni Storm, she's the face of this company. She was interim AEW Women's Champion, and still they weren't behind her. It took for her to lose that shit to Saraya at All In.
Yeah.
And start to slowly descend into this mad character, this timeless character, and look what we got.
Timeless.
Timeless.
Storm. Iconic.
Like, holy shit.
her era.
And then I always have to use Brian Pillman as an example. I'm sorry.
Who?
Brian Pillman Jr.
Who?
Who's now king in WWE.
WWE.
Remember?
Oh,
He had his one chance,
With
to
MJF.
be put
With MJF,
on
that's right.
top with MJF, and he fumbled because he didn't have anything. Now he's in WWE. To me, he still got nothing while being there.
Who is he in WWE?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Ricky Saints, you might say what you want, but I always knew he had talent. He always had that persona,
I get
and
it.
now he's really bringing that out to the forefront with
get
his rivalry with Trick right now.
Yeah, can't wait to see him on the main roster and be like, never mind.
He's gonna move to the main roster really soon. He's
Yeah.
right now NXT
Yeah, good
champion.
luck.
He's gonna
You
do
got
good.
to
I
have
have faith in him.
something. You got to have that. If you don't have it, bro, you're cooked, man. You're under the
I agree.
sea.
I agree.
You're gonna be buried.
I agree with that, but I also feel like, and again, I completely agree with that. I think having personality, having being a great wrestler, a great worker, that plays along too. I think another thing that plays along for me, at least, is a good theme music.
Yes,
having a good,
I agree.
a good
I
theme
agree.
music that pumps you up,
100%.
that can resonate with the fans.
Yes.
That's great. And again, sometimes it takes 3 to 4 theme musics to get through it, and that's what you got to get through.
Yeah.
I also want to put emphasis on having the company behind you, but not just having the company behind you, because we know that but companies play favorites. We know that's not a secret.
That's true.
But I want to also, I want them to have risk, to take risk when they're not supposed to take risk, to, timing, it's everything, but also do things out of ordinary to see how it is. I mean, for example, how many times do we not pray, and we not scream, we told them, hey, we want the title to be a main event Jey Uso, and they didn't give him the title. They gave him the title so fucking late that didn't work out.
I didn't want that shit.
But that's what I'm saying, though. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you would have taken a risk before that, that would have been something. Taking a risk right now on Braun Breaker to be a great star, that's what it is. Sometimes you have to take risks with young stars to kind of give them a chance. And if it doesn't work, hey, it doesn't work. But at least you give them a chance. I think that's something that it has to be taken more serious going up to the New Year's. Because, again, we don't have our Kenny's Omegas. We don't have our
And I-
Ospreys. We don't have Cody Rhodes anymore.
And I hope you take that into your consideration, Mayo. When you're watching AEW and you look at AEW, you say, well, who the fuck is this? Give it time.
I will, but that's a different conversation that we're gonna get on.
there we go.
Yeah.
See,
Like,
there you
Bro,
go.
I
There you
really,
go. There
I
you
really
go.
have to get behind you when you mention the theme songs because I think that is a major. I
is-
think
it's-
that's a
it's
major
huge.
part of your
It's
character.
huge. It's huge.
Look, you said it, Jay Uso. Honestly, on God, he wouldn't be where he was at if it wasn't for his
If it
theme
wasn't
song.
for the theme song.
If
Yeah,
it
that
wasn't
was
for his
fair.
theme
Yeah, I
song,
agree.
let's be honest here. Let's be
agree.
1,000%. Jay Uso would not be where he's
I
at
agree.
if it wasn't for that theme song.
And the merch helps too. Like the merch elevates you. So the theme song
It's
with the merch-
primarily the theme song.
Yeah, but it is
Yeah,
primarily
because if
the song.
anything,
So-
WWE really has become a sing along with all of their songs because that's the only songs that they have now are the ones that they had back in the Ruthless Aggression era, and then they're all just coming back.
Which is
so.
why AEW to me is crumbling because they don't got great theme songs. I think they need to bring Jim Johnston. Bring my nigga Jim Johnston over to AEW. He even expressed, hey man, if they call me and shit, I might do it. Yo, TK, man, what's holding you back? You need godly music in that bitch. Okay?
I
you
agree.
need godly music for your fucking wrestlers.
Because
bro.
we have what Will Ospreay's music. Which
That's
we
fire,
That's
yes.
fire music.
Yep, yep.
I'm missing one more. Everyone.
That's pretty
waves
much
their
it.
hands at- oh no, it's Edge's music when everyone.
That's
sings
not
that
his.
sing-
No, I can't even count AEW for that.
Oh,
that was
no, I
long
guess
before
we can't.
AEW's
No, we
time.
can't.
Way before AEW's time.
Okay, Spike. Well, what do you think it takes to be
It's
the great next big star?
ruthless aggression. I'm joking, but no, it does involve a good gimmick, and that good gimmick allows the crowd to get involved, thus elevating the match and the energy of the show. Because I always felt like anytime I watch a show, and as I'm watching the people, I'm watching the characters wrestle. I don't see the crowd. It does depend on the city. You know, when they always come to Texas, it's always going to be high. Let's face it, bro. We bring our A game anytime.
Speaking about that, just a caveat real quick, just a
Yeah.
little tangent. TK went on stage apparently, and he said that the San Antonio crowd this past Wednesday was the loudest Texas crowd they've ever been to. Just letting y'all know
Dallas,
that.
we need to step it up.
Yeah.
We can't let these guys win. But
Go ahead.
anyway, moving forward, the crowd is very important because it gives the energy and it gets us, the viewer from home who are not there, invested to keep watching more. Like, hey, there's something to these two characters that's giving the energy to this crowd to
Yeah.
get involved. So yes, the music, the gimmick, the wrestling. Because I look at Kyle O'Reilly and I'm just like, the dude can wrestle, the dude can move. He's talented as a wrestler, but the
That's all
dude
he has.
cannot.
That is what see, I'm glad you brought that up because the two people who I think need a drastic, not a character change because they're still trying to find their way,
Right.
is a drastic theme for Kyle O'Reilly and Takeshita. Takeshita needs a better theme song.
Takeshita's different because this motherfucker has aura. Kyle O'Reilly doesn't
Yeah,
have
I
no
agree.
type
He
of
does
aura.
have aura.
whatsoever.
But yeah. But
As to back to my thing though, but Takeshita's an aura farmer in my opinion.
He is.
So,
Like, come on now.
And I like.
I don't even think that's
and I
fair.
like what
No,
I like
you're
what
right.
him and Okada are doing. Eventually, that's gonna blow up. So I'm looking forward to that. But it is very important because even Takeshita, when he was the young lion, he was just a great wrestler. That's it. He wasn't the aura
Nah,
farmer
bro. You could
until
just,
he
when
went
he
under.
debuted in AEW, you could just tell from his first match. You're like, this motherfucker already got some type of aura.
Yeah.
He's already
Nah,
got
I
that
didn't-
hidden.
I didn't get that
I look
vibe.
at Kyle O'Reilly. I see this nigga's lame as hell. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're a great wrestler, but the first time I heard this man talk, I said, "Nigga, you're cooked." I was like, you're not gonna be up there.
No,
Oh God, he's
but,
not.
But that's what I'm saying. Let me tie down my point right there.
Go ahead.
Look at New Japan. They just barely gave him the title. They just get the title to
Oh, yeah,
Takeshita.
Takeshita, yeah.
And people started bitching.
Why were they bitching? He
I don't
deserved
give a
it.
fuck. I don't give. But that's what I'm saying though.
That's a different
That's what I'm
conversation.
saying. Their companies are
I didn't
not
know that
taking risks.
conversation.
It's time now to put a fucking rocket behind Takeshita and TKO push his ass. He's ready. He's been ready.
We need new faces.
But,
of each
that's what I'm
brand.
saying. That's what it ties up. We're like, hey, we need the companies to take risks.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll
we-
also
we-
be honest here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I also believe that, believe it or not, the inability to like really speak English creates this type of detachment from the wrestler and the audience. That's why Andrade didn't really talk that much in AEW because he really couldn't speak English, right? Asuka and Kyrie and Io are exceptions because they do speak English, albeit not perfect, but they just have something about them that allows them to connect.
For the record.
Takeshita has gotten better. He started speaking
Yeah, I've
English
been
and he's
noticing
gotten
that.
better.
I've been noticing
so
that.
I'm like, okay, this is right here. This is what they're trying to do for him. So
Yeah.
I can see that Takeshita shortly, soon in the near future, he's about to be playing.
Kyle Fletcher-
Okada got better too.
Okada,
I remember he
Kyle
was
Fletcher.
first.
I think so too. I was watching a clip on TikTok that they showed him how he used to be in the beginning, and now he's starting to speak more. I can see him really trying to get better as well.
Yeah, Fletcher.
We have a lot of great young talent in AEW that I think is art. They are trying to make the waves, and they're getting there. So it's a good opportunity for AEW.
I say our current women's world champion, Chris Statlander, I feel like she's suffering some type of identity crisis that's finding her way. Even though she's women's champion, remember she's gone through so many changes
She
in
got
AEW.
so many changes. And she called herself out. Which I love that. In one of her promos, she said, I've been in so many. I've been good. I've been bad. I've been so many things.
Yeah.
But I finally found who I am now. I'm your intergalactic badass bitch. And I was like, that's what I love to hear.
That's
Dude,
what she's
And that's
building
why
it. Yeah.
this past
Stick with it.
Wednesday, even though I gave the writers shit at Wrestle Dream for what happened when Mercedes Moné came out, she came back and delivered her receipt, and then she followed up with another receipt this past Wednesday,
Which was nice.
which I was like, damn, this was pretty nice. So this Wednesday, I was like, you guys for the writers, you did a great job.
and she's
this past
talking
Wednesday.
more, which
Yes.
I actually
Yes.
really do enjoy. This past promo, I was like, this is better. This is. She feels a lot more confident. I'm
There you
noticing
go.
that
I need them
confidence.
to keep doing what they're doing because
It just takes a while. It takes a while with these guys.
it does, but it's like when you have back-to-back shows that are boring. It's like, okay, guys, what do you guys do when the writers?
hate you.
What do you need
I
help?
hate you.
Well,
Same thing for WWE. You're not absolved of this either.
again, like you let us know what it takes to be aggressive. We gave you a bunch of good points here. Let us know what you guys think.
We'll see you in the comments below. This is Breaking Kayfabe.